Chapter 481 Mother and daughter recognize each other. Good guy. She is so beautiful. She is so sassy. Is this Wu Shi? She is so strong. No wonder her abilities surpassed other equally outstanding geniuses in Hongming College and became the shining star. Feng Sang becomes a little wife in front of her. Ha ha ha. But she said that Wu Huan plotted against them, and what he plotted against them. Please tell us, and let us know how vicious he is. We are so curious. Hissing nodding. Is her method of extracting souls and torturing souls going too far? Bah. Those of you who don't know what happened back then, don't point fingers and talk nonsense. I already know some of the evil things Wu Huan did. I can only tell you that he deserves his current fate. As a result, insiders or victims popped up on the barrage. You wouldn't know it until it was exposed. Once it was exposed, you would be shocked. The evil deeds Wu Huan had done were simply too numerous to describe. Among them were several surviving Bei's tribesmen. In order to avoid the search of Feng Sang and Wei Xiuyan, Wu Huan hid in the secret place of Bei's. Not only did he not know how to be grateful, he also provoked the internal disputes of the Bei's clan. For 6 years, the Bei's clan had been in trouble because of him. And after all his destruction, the number of the Holy Maiden clan, which was already small, became even smaller. Those who are left outside now can be counted on 10 fingers. However, the Sanctus clan is not the worst offender. The worst offenders are several small families. Wu Huan used Wu to have several small families wiped out. Without exception, these small families were used to raise their families, addicted to spiritual poison. And then the entire clan will be lost. Even when there was civil strife in the Wu family, Wu Huan was finally forced to be elected as the head of the family. This was a deliberate design by him to gain access to the Wu family. It was completely different from the rumors that he was appointed in the face of danger and was pushed up. After these things were revealed, Wu Huan's reputation was completely stinky. And even the spiritual beasts, who had developed intelligence, had to spit him out when they heard about it. Feng Sang took the small bottle containing Wu Huan's soul. Before the live broadcast, countless people who had a grudge against Wu Huan all stared at them. They were secretly grateful for Wu Shi's thoughtfulness and planned to wait for this time. After the Origin Star competition, they went to the Shin family to give gifts and borrow Wu Huan's soul to go back and have revenge. After sending the small bottle out, Wu Shi couldn't stop and turned to look at the traitors of the Bei's clan who were trying to escape. She looked stern and moved over. A silver whip appeared in her hand and pointed at them. Pull away without mercy. With a whip, the skin was torn open and the bones were visible, which was much worse than the tail of the 9-clawed golden dragon. The 9-clawed golden dragon shrank its neck, glanced at her cautiously, and then withdrew knowingly. Seeing that the situation was not good, several people from the Bei's tribe cried and begged for mercy. But Wu Shi had no intention of letting go and continued to beat him hard. The traitor who had harmed countless tribesmen, would not be a pity to die. After beating those people until there was no good piece of flesh on their bodies, Wu Shi killed them and gave them a good beating. Looking at the blood-stained ground and the dead bodies with unyielding expressions on their faces, she lowered her eyes and felt a depressing and cold aura throughout her body. She used to take the Sanctus clan very seriously, thinking about the clansmen in everything, working hard to revive the glory of the Bei's clan, and sharing all the resources she obtained at Hongming College with the clansmen. But how did these white-eyed wolves treat them? As for her, she betrayed, killed those clansmen who followed her, and united with other clans to hunt her down and harm her. What made her most angry was what Feng Sang said just now. Not long after she left, they attacked her husband and their infant child. Her husband was seriously injured and fell into a coma for 19 years. And her children lived on the edge of the planet. Their life was so difficult that they almost didn't survive. Damn it. These white-eyed wolves deserve to die. Feng Sang came over and hugged the person comfortingly. Okay. Kill them, and the past will be wiped out. What's important is the future of our family of 3. By the way, our daughter is here too. Even if she doesn't, our parents are by our side, and we are very good-looking. But we have already qualified to participate in the Origin Star Resource Competition in 25 years. Wu Shi's eyes lit up. He turned around and looked at Shin Huan, who was standing among the Shin family not far away. My precious daughter. She happily ran over and hugged Shin Huan, pressing her firmly into her arms. Mom. Sniffing the good smell on her body, Shin Huan felt that the last bit of family affection in her heart had been filled. And then she subconsciously raised the corners of her lips and shouted, Hey, my daughter. Wu Shi responded with a happy smile. and the smile on his bright face was even more dazzling. By the way, my daughter, you are representing the Shin family in the competition. Just in time. My mother has planted several acres of land and given it to you. Shin Huan was not polite and accepted it with a smile. Thank you, mother. Then she was happily pulled aside by her own mother to look at the acres of land she had planted. Just now, they were busy cleaning up the Wuhan and Bei's people and didn't pay attention to other places. Now they saw that these several acres were filled with super exalted natural materials and earthly treasures. And their eyes were as bright as light bulbs. Good guy. My mother is so capable. She has grown so many super-grade natural and earthly treasures. If you sell any one of them here, it would cost a sky-high price. And if they have money, they don't have anywhere to buy it. It's really amazing. My mother-in-law, after collecting all these acres of land, even if they waste it all in the next few days until Origin Star is closed, they will still be at the top of the list and become the first in this resource competition. Then the mother and daughter happily went to the fields to pick the treasures from heaven and earth. Feng Sang looked at the backs of his mother and daughter, who were so happy that they forgot about themselves. With sad eyes. He was not happy that his daughter-in-law had forgotten her husband after having a daughter. Long Xinglo was also a little unhappy. But he didn't dare to argue with his mother-in-law, especially since this was their first official meeting. So he had better not get too close to annoy her. However, he still rolled up his sleeves and went to another field to help pick. Although he was not an eyesore and disturbed, it did not prevent him from being a virtuous and capable son-in-law and building a good impression. I'm so sad. This mother is so kind. She gave away so many super exalted treasures of heaven and earth. After Shin Huan pocketed them. What happened to other families? What happened to me? There is no biological mother who is so generous and gives away a lot of super exalted materials and treasures just after meeting her. Is this considered cheating? How can the gift from Wu Shi be counted into the Shin family's points? Hey, what I said is that the competition system does not stipulate that this is not allowed. As long as the treasures of heaven and earth obtained by any means in the Origin Star are counted as points, they will be included in the competition points. Teams from other families will rob and cheat. Everyone can count the treasures they robbed and deceived as points for their team. Shin Huan's mother took the initiative to give those to her. So why don't they count? The points have been added. And the rankings are also jumping. Do you think it counts? Chapter 482. The Shin family changes their rules. Enter Little Rose. Everyone in the Shin family was moved to tears. And Shin Jingshan even had runny noses and tears. Okay. Lao Ba is indeed the hope of our Phoenix clan. My precious son is not only good for himself, but also has a great wife. This move is a super-level treasure of heaven and earth. Our Shin family can take it. It's very promising to get to the first place. You must respect the 8th daughter-in-law in the future. If we can really get the new planet bred by the Origin Star this year, the 8th daughter-in-law will be a great contributor to our Shin family. The tribesmen laughed beside them. How dare we be disrespectful? Feng Sang's daughter-in-law is so powerful. One whip could tear the skin of the royal-level Saintess tribe to pieces. If it were us, this whip could kill us all. No one can live with his own life. Yes. We will definitely not dare to offend in the future. And my 8th daughter-in-law is a generous person at first glance. If our relationship is good, we might be able to pick up some good things leaked from her fingers. Hey, what good things leaked out from her fingers? Her things belong to our Shin family. Shin Qifei came back at some point and sat next to Shin Qiyue, chewing an apple, and said, 80% of my mother's earnings are handed over to the family. As the daughter-in-law of our Shin family, she must learn from my mother, the elder sister-in-law, and hand over 80% of her assets. As soon as she said this, some people in the Shin family's eyes lit up. But most of them remained silent. They all looked at each other with some hesitation. Even if the 8th daughter-in-law really handed it over, they would not dare to take it. A super exalted piece of heavenly material and earthly treasure in her hand is several times more than the entire assets of the Shin family combined. Moreover, this time they also gave points, which was a big help. So the Shin family is very likely to get it. This year's new planet has returned to the upper star domain. Do they still have the nerve to ask her to hand over 80% of her assets? The smile on Shin Jingshan's face suddenly turned into anger, and he glared fiercely at Shin Qifei, his granddaughter. This shit-stirring stick is really messing around. Shin Qifei snorted with a proud expression, feeling that she had finally regained a victory. In this eerily silent atmosphere, the third elder said with a faint smile on his face, just in time. Let's take this opportunity to discuss the issue of handing over the contributions of the clan members to the family. In the past, our Shin family was all poor. For in order to train the next generation, we established the rule that this child will be raised by our family, and the clan members will hand over 80% of their assets to the family when they reach adulthood. But it is obviously no longer applicable. The second elder, who had always been at odds with Shin Shan, also raised his chin and snorted, saying, I'm not someone who takes advantage. All the sons of Shin Shan's family are promising, except for the stupid and blind Shin Fei. The rest of the grandchildren look like they are nothing in the pool. If the previous rules were followed, it would be obvious who suffers the most. If the gap between them was not so big, it would be okay to continue to implement this rule for a while. But now the gap is too big. It is impossible for the sons and grandsons of Shin Shan's family to support their entire family. Sooner or later, they will have complaints, especially the daughters-in-law of Lao Ba's family. He has also heard about the Saint Girl clan. Lao Ba's daughter-in-law raises a lot of her tribe members, and Bai Yannerlang has raised a lot of them. Lao Ba's daughter-in-law will definitely not make the same mistake of raising them again. The Shin family is gone, and if they want to think long-term, the Shin family cannot be raised like this. Otherwise they will be raised to waste sooner or later. Therefore, for the long-term consideration of the family, the rule must be changed. As for the rest of the Shin family, 80% of them also agreed to change the rules, and the rest did not express their opinions. Only a few people were unwilling to miss this good opportunity, but they did not dare to speak out. So the matter of changing the rules was just that. It's settled. Originally, adult clan members had to hand over 80% of their assets, but now it is in the form of transaction tax. In the future, if they want to continue to stay in the Shin family, they will have to pay the head tax. And if they build a house, do business or other things on the Shin family's planet, they will have to pay corresponding taxes. The children will also be raised by their respective parents, but the family will provide public facilities, such as testing centers, awakening ceremonies, martial arts venues, etc. Everyone's words complete the next arrangements for the Shin family. Only Shin Fei was depressed and very unhappy. No, I don't agree. I object. It's hard for our Shin family to have a chance to turn around. If we really go to the Upper Star territory, without the support of 8th Uncle and the others, our Shin family will aren't other people very shabby. What if other families look down on our Shin family? Shin Shan was really disappointed with this granddaughter and said angrily, If you are shabby, try your best to become not shabby. People who only rely on others will never achieve anything. Shin Fei stared and wanted to say something, but Shin Shan was impatient to talk to her. Shiyu, get rid of this idiot who doesn't want to make progress, and talk some sense to her. Shin Chiyua's eyes suddenly lit up. I know how to be reasonable. But what if she doesn't listen? Shin Shan said with a stern face. Then hit him. Under the stick comes a filial son. If you can't be beaten to death, then beat him hard. Okay, Grandpa. Shin Chiyua bared her small white teeth, geared up, and walked over with an eagerness to try. Shin Fei looked at Shin Chiyua walking over and shivered. If anyone was to be the least merciful to her, it must be Shin Chiyua. The two of them had never dealt with each other since they were young. Now that she was in her hands, Shin Chiyua would definitely not let her go. Grandpa knew this and still handed himself over to her. Grandpa was so cruel. You? Don't come here. Mom! Save me! Zhao Xuanmei turned his face away from her request for help. It would be harming her if she asked for help now. Shin Chiyua clapped her fingers and smiled at the indignant Shin Fei. Good sister. Don't worry. I will definitely let you know the truth and speak human words. As he spoke, he grabbed Shin Fei and took her away without giving her a chance to struggle. Shin Shan shook his head helplessly. The girl Fei was only a little bit worse than Chiyua girl before, but now she is completely inferior. She didn't even have a chance to resist. The gap suddenly came out, let alone with him. The proud granddaughter Huan needs more education. By the way, Patriarch, our little Luoxing won't be able to hold on for much longer. A new planet is about to appear. Do we have to pack it up? Several tribesmen changed the subject and asked with smiles on their faces. A smile appeared on Shin Shan's face again, and he said happily, It's time to pack up. Even if there is no new planet, we have to move. Lao Ba said he could buy a planet for our Shin family when he was recovering from his injuries and falling asleep in the ice coffin. He has absorbed a lot of spiritual energy from our little Luoshing. If he wants to buy the planet, he should pay for it. Chapter 483. The Shin family is about to be targeted. On the origin star, suddenly a strong golden light burst out from the central spiritual energy beam, which stung people so hard that they couldn't open their eyes. Then it spread and radiated to the entire origin star. In an instant, everything in the origin star grew wildly, and all the spiritual beasts bowed their heads in this direction, to show reverence and admiration for the place where all things originate. Shining Huan and others also stopped picking, looked in the direction of the light beam, and bowed respectfully. At the same time, Bai Zhe suddenly came out of the beast control space. It had two long silver-white horns on its head. The long hair on its body was like white satin, smooth and holy, exuding a faint divine light. At this time, the formations under its feet were shining with stars and moon. Brilliant. The golden beast's pupils looked towards the beam of light. At dawn 3 days later, a new planet will be born. This new planet will have mellow aura and a breath of growth. It will be a resource star that will be like spring all year round. Baize, Wuxi looked at it in surprise, and then looked at his daughter, with a smile on his face, filled with joy and some relief. Their Sanctus clan finally welcomed Bai Zhe, although there were not many people left in the clan. But as long as the person is not dead, the spark will be rekindled sooner or later under the protection of Bai Zhe. The light in Wuxi's eyes became a little brighter. Feng Sang looked at her with a gentle smile. He knew what his daughter-in-law was thinking. She had been placed in high hopes by the elders of the Bai Zhe clan since she was born. She had regarded the Saint Maiden clan and finding Bai Zhe as her responsibility and mission since she was a child. Saying she must blame herself for the betrayal of the female clan, which has led to the decline of talents in the clan and the loneliness of the clan. However, Bai Zhe's appearance gave the Saint female clan a shot in the arm and re-injected life into her already desolate heart. Sure enough, the light in Wuxi's eyes was a little brighter than before. With hope and yearning for the future, she walked over and stretched out her hand to touch it. Bai Zhe glanced at her with his golden beast eyes. Then he meekly lowered his head and let her caress him. Ah, this is Bai Zhe. I don't know what it feels like to masturbate. I want to masturbate too. This satin-like luster. You can tell at a glance that it must be very comfortable to touch. It is worthy of the noble and rare Bai Zhe. It looks better than ordinary spiritual beasts. I said. Isn't the point that Bai Zhe said that the planet conceived this year is a resource star with spring all year round? You must know that not every new planet conceived every 25 years is good and suitable for human habitation. Like the planet last time. The fire planet. As the name suggests, it has the most volcanoes and rocks. It is not suitable for people to live at all. If an incompetent person stays there for a few days, a layer of skin will be burned off, and the hair and eyebrows will be lost. Don't even think about keeping it. Yes. Yes. And last time, a Mercury was conceived, which was filled with vast oceans and only a few small islands. But the family that got it that time was a well-known family of active production model workers. Giving birth to children is about to catch up with spirit beasts giving birth to cubs. Although it is not as scary as giving birth to a litter in a lifetime. Twins and triplets are very common. There are only a few islands on Mercury, which are not enough for them to live in. 3 generations of grandparents and grandchildren were enough for 10 families. And in the end, they had to use this planet as a tourist vacation satellite. Crying out loud. Are you too rich? It would be great if you have it. Don't be picky. My family hasn't received a new planet for hundreds of years. If we continue like this, we won't be able to survive in the upper star field. I have to roll down to the lower star field. Crooked. The point is, this planet is so good this year. The vitality is spreading out. Plants are growing like crazy. And all kinds of beasts are following it. Everyone knows that the new planet bred this year is extraordinary. Aren't other families excited? So what I mean is that Shininghuan and the others will have a hard time keeping the first place. Yes. Yes. Come together to grab it. Isn't it the last day yet? Other families still have a chance. If they join forces to attack the Shin family, the Shin family may not be able to retain the first place. Moreover, Wuxi should not be counted among the Shin family. In the middle, her powerful combat power is almost useless. Oh! The standings have been opened to the competition. And the Shin family is about to be targeted. The organizer is bad. Every year, they announce the standings a few days before the birth of a new planet. The top families will be the target of public criticism. Wow! It's so exciting. Before there was no live broadcast, I could only listen to the reports from the people of the same clan who participated. If there is a live broadcast this year, I can watch it myself. Hee. The gloating and worried people were making a lot of noise on the barrage. The Shin family members on Shao Luoxing, who were originally in high spirits, also began to worry. One by one, they stopped packing their things. And they were worried, and did not dare to take their eyes away from the screen. Only Shin Qifei showed a gloating expression. Huh? Let's see how Xinhuan and the others respond. Before she could finish her words, she got a big slap on the back of her head. Ah! Shin Qifei covered the back of her head, and turned to glare at Shin Qiyue with an angry expression. Shin Qiyue also looked at her unhappily. I think you are so obsessed with men that your brain is crippled. Xinhuan and the others didn't take first place. What good will it do to you if our Shin family can't get a new planet? If our Shin family is really lonely, I want to see if your pretty boyfriend can still coax you and support you with sweet words. You need to be self-aware. If it weren't for the Shin family, you would be nothing. And your boyfriend wouldn't look down on you at all. Shin Qifei was angry. That's not the case. He really loves me. Oh, he's such a sucker. Shin Qiyue sneered. She didn't want to continue talking to this idiot whose mind was filled with sweet words. So she directly took her to the fighting arena and beat her up. If she couldn't listen to her words, then she would be beaten again. As long as she was beaten if she doesn't die. Beat her to death until the industrial saccharin is knocked out of her brain. People's joys and sorrows are not the same. Here, Shin Qifei is still being beaten miserably. While over there, Wu Shi is having fun with Baze. After she had touched her enough and vented her joy, Bai Zhe leisurely walked toward Xinhuan with his tail wagging under the sour eyes of a certain man. When this planet is born, a few traces of the original power of the origin star will be revealed. And the source can breed Tiany's true energy. A ray of Tiany's true energy is the last material for Xinhuan to repair her soul. As long as she absorbs this Tiany's true energy, her soul will be truly complete. Xinhuan's eyes lit up. But what made him even happier was Long Xinglo beside him. His eyes were filled with a sure win. So they quickly speeded up the picking action. Many people knew about the origin of the origin star. And this origin was undoubtedly a treasure more precious than the super-level heavenly material and earthly treasure. So there were many people who wanted it. And it wouldn't take long. There should be a large number of people coming here. If they see these unfinished treasures on the ground, they will definitely be greedy. And they will be in trouble. Moreover, the new planet that was born this year is unusual. Their Shin family ranks first in points. So they will definitely be remembered. So they quickly picked up the remaining treasures. Chapter 484. The actual record is nothing. As the last super exalted heavenly material and earthly treasure was picked, and after all the 49 corpses of the Holy Maiden clan and Wuhuan were collected, and all the space spiritual weapons were buried, there was movement nearby. And huge spiritual beasts were coming, flying towards them carrying the contestants. Found it! The Shun family is here! Following a loud voice, countless spirit beasts landed not far away. And soon the open space in front was filled with people. They stood together, first wary of each other. And then after reaching a temporary truce, they targeted the Shin family and pointed fingers at them. I didn't expect that the Shin family, which has at least 11 people, would be number one in the standings. How did they do it? Pretend to be pigs and eat tigers? Hey, there are not just 11 people here. There are 12. What's going on with the extra one? Among them, the person who was a student of Hongming College recognized Wu Shi at a glance. Ah, she is Dean Panyu's most proud disciple. The senior sister Wu Shi on the Hall of Fame. Isn't she missing? Why is she here? She must not have been with the Shin family when she entered the venue before. Otherwise, I would definitely have recognized her. Senior Wu Shi, you should not be considered a contestant today. Right. Can you avoid the competition between us and the Shin family for points? Wu Shi, who was about to loosen her muscles and bones, paused. It seemed that she was indeed not qualified to compete today. But she still wanted to argue. Anyway, there were only 11 people in the Shin family. So what happened to adding her to the temporary team? But as soon as she said this, she was given a red card by the organizer, saying that based on the number of people present during the competition, she, a contestant who was stranded here in the previous session, could not join. Moreover, she once represented the Saintis clan. She is not in the ranks of the Shin family. This year, the number of Saintis clan members is full, so she cannot join or interfere in the affairs between the contestants. Moreover, She had already brushed aside the gift of heavenly materials and earthly treasures before. But seeing that these heavenly materials and earthly treasures grow on the ground of the origin star, everyone can pick them. Even the Shin family can pick them without her. So she decided to points count. Wu Shi was unwilling to give in. But there was nothing he could do about it. If she interfered in the future, she would be sent out. So it would be better to just watch the fight from the sidelines. Origin Star has a lot of natural materials and treasures. Even if the organizer gives her a red card, the natural materials and treasures she picks after that can no longer be given to the Shin family to hit points. But if she picks them, she earns them. It does not count as points. So she can keep them with her. It's not impossible to deliver it outside. Without the giant Buddha Wu Shi, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. Then, they didn't hold back for long before they took action against Shininghuan and others. The siege was about to break out. The leader was the Miao people. As soon as they took action, they controlled the goo worms to move towards the fatal points of Shininghuan and others. After several fights, the goo worms wounded Shininghuan and 11 people with numerous scars. A gorgeous-looking woman from the Miao ethnic group had a vicious glint in her eyes. While Shininghuan was surrounded by people from other families, she secretly directed her giant floater to aim its mouthparts at her heart. Unexpectedly, the blow hit the target, and bright red blood spurted out, splattering the faces of the surrounding people with blood on their faces. The other besieging families were stunned for a moment, and looked at the Miao woman in shock and horror. You killed her? They showed expressions of collapse and cursed. You must be out of your mind. You actually killed her. She is Wu Shi's daughter. Wu Shi is watching right next to you. If you kill her, don't do anything if you don't care about your long life. Come on us. It's over. It's over. Shininghuan is dead. Wu Shi will not let us helpers go. Even if we escape by chance, there is still Dean Panao outside. Maybe our family will be implicated by us. We clearly promised to let if the Shin family is injured and hand over the heavenly materials and earthly treasures. It will be okay. And they will never kill any living beings. Several people muttered to each other, being frightened into a trance by Shininghuan's corpse, and reaching out to try to stuff the fallen heart back. The Miao woman who took action was not afraid at all, but showed a proud expression. Humph. I killed a person. But with Elder Man Hong here, we Miao people are not afraid of that old Dai Pan Yao. If you are afraid, just take your it's perfectly fine for your family to join our Miao tribe, and wait until Elder Man Hong kills the holy girl, and takes charge of the entire Miao tribe, and then protects your small families. The expressions of several people were even more horrified. This woman was crazy. She was so ambitious, and wanted her family to serve as a younger brother to the Miao people. Bah! What a beautiful idea! But they were not in the mood to curse at this time. They were anxious to think of a remedy, and they were so worried that they scratched their heads like chicken coops. TSK. TSK. The illusion of the nine-tailed fox is so powerful. Even the spraying state of blood and the flesh and blood of the heart are so vivid and lifelike. It scares other children and almost makes them crazy. I think it's not that these people are not scared, but that there is something wrong with this illusion. Shinyao must have added other things to the illusion, such as amplifying emotions and affecting the nerves. Otherwise, they are all members of major families. It is impossible for a carefully selected person to be so outspoken, especially the Miao woman, who told such treacherous things as her master wanted to kill the saint. And she came to power. There is no need for her to say this. I heard that since the incident with the Chai family 6 years ago, the Miao Saint sect, who had never heard anything outside the window, discovered the little tricks of Miao Monhong's group. After that, the two factions started to fight. The relationship has become tense. It is said that not long ago, the two factions even reached the point of fighting. In short, there is a lot of turmoil within the Miao people. It is also because the Miao people are thousands of miles away from the mountains, and they do not like to use the star network. The news came out late. Yes, but everything that needs to be known is known. I also think there is something wrong with the illusion. I have to say that everyone in the Shin family was surprised when they were brought out. Shin Yao did an amazing job in this illusion, and almost 2 out of 3 people who besieged them were killed. After getting it in, I don't know when these fools lost in the illusion will realize that something is wrong. Wu Shi, who was watching the battle, stared at the Miao woman with sharp eyes, and snorted coldly, saying that he wanted to kill her daughter, even if it was fake. She still held a grudge. After she left the origin star, she would kill him, which would be regarded as helping Miao Jun. That woman Li has cleaned up her house. The illusion created by Shin Yao's nine-tailed fox was superimposed on the illusion of the blue hidden butterfly. And the effect doubled. Once trapped, those people were trapped for 8 hours. It was not until 8 hours later that someone gradually discovered that something was wrong. From the illusion, to break free. Look at the 11 members of the Shin family, who are still alive and fighting with others. They lower their heads in shame. In the illusion, they operate as fiercely as tigers. In reality, they have no results at all. They didn't even hurt a hair of the Shin family. Arrive. Thinking back again to the arrogant face of the Shin family after they knocked down the Shin family in the illusion. Well, without even looking at it, he himself felt that he was a 250-year-old. Chapter 485 Commanding All Beasts. Ha ha ha. Look at their social dead expressions. TSK TSK. TSK TSK. Screenshots. Screenshots. Short videos. I will definitely laugh them to death when they come back. Although the society is dead. Fortunately, there are still people with real abilities who have come out alive. Hey. Hey. These people are so angry that they are attacking the Shin family. They can't afford it. Wow. The Phoenix is really powerful. It can fight against a group of dozens of noble-level spiritual beasts without losing. TSK TSK. Originally it would have been too much for a family with 50 people to rob the Shin family. Now that several families have joined together, it is too much for hundreds of people to bully the 11 members of the Shin family. Regardless of whether the Shin family wins or loses. They are all good. 11 people can hold up against hundreds of them for a long time. I definitely couldn't do it if it were me. Fortunately, the Jing family, the Dragonborn family, and the Shinto family didn't come to join in the fun. Otherwise even the Shin family with Phoenix, Nine-Clawed Golden Dragon, Bai Zhe, Dankon, Nine-Tailed Fox and other spiritual beasts wouldn't be able to do it. How lively the discussions on the barrage were, and how intense the battle was. The timeline of this battle was unexpectedly long, and the 11 members of the Shin family were surprisingly capable of fighting. In the blink of an eye, it was 3 days later, before the newborn planet is about to be born. The light on the light pillar becomes a little brighter, and it is in the final gestation stage. When the besieging families saw that something was not going well, they were initially reluctant to make a killing move. But now their eyes were reddened by the golden light emitted by the light beam, and they subconsciously made a killing move. And after such a long period of consumption, several members of the Shin family could no longer hold up under their mad dog-like attack. As if at the end of a powerful crossbow, each of them was seriously injured, and their clothes were stained with blood, which looked very tragic. Wuxi was watching the battle, her eyebrows furrowed, and several times she couldn't help but want to kill those who dared to hurt her husband and daughter. At this moment, the light on the light pillar became dazzling, and colorful colors hung in the air. The bumpy grass around them bloomed with life again. This was a sign that a new planet was about to be born. At the same time, the original power escaped first. Come out. This time, they didn't care about besieging the Shin family. They all rushed towards the light beam like hungry tigers, shouting at the top of their lungs. Quick! Grab the source! In the crowd fighting, Xininghuan was among them. With Bai Zhe's deduction and prediction ability, she accurately stood in the direction of the source of the elusive toy. Quick! Now! Bai Zhe roared. And Xininghuan immediately took action, quickly and accurately grasping the source of power, then turned around and ran quickly. When other people around him saw this, they were stunned for a moment, and then rushed forward to snatch it with eyes wide open. Put down your roots! Long Xingluo's face sank, and he immediately drove the nine-clawed golden dragon over. The huge golden dragon's body stood in front of those people and spiritual beasts. The battle broke out again. Phoenix also flew over quickly, shouting curses and spitting fire at these people. The other Shin family members also arrived and tried their best to hold them back, giving Xininghuan some time. After Xininghuan obtained the original power, she immediately covered it with Bai Zhe's skill aura and began to cultivate Tianyi's true energy. This is Bai Zhe's special blessing ability, coupled with Dang Kang's power of time, which accelerates the gestation of Tianyi's true energy. It originally took at least 7,749 days to successfully cultivate Tianyi's true energy, but now it only takes 4. It can be done in minutes. As soon as Tianyi Xinqi was completed, Xininghuan couldn't wait to absorb it and began to frantically absorb its energy. With the last material in place, the damaged part of her soul began to be repaired rapidly, and large areas of spiritual energy around her swarmed towards her. Even another ray of original power that was still escaping was attracted by her, flew towards her, and finally penetrated into her body from her forehead. With this source of power, she became even more powerful, and the spiritual power in her body began to rotate, condense, and converge rapidly. When everyone's eyes were wide open, and they wanted to break through the Shin family's defense line and draw out the original power before she could fully absorb it. Her aura was rising steadily. Then, the advancement formation patterns under her feet lit up, and she advanced from the Emperor level to the Honor level. But the advancement spirit pattern has not disappeared. They all understood what this meant. The Honor level is capped. But there are also differences between the Honor level and the Honor level. The difference is that she is probably even more powerful than the Super level. Not to mention the contestants, who were only one step away from the original power. Even the audience before the live broadcast were jealous and wished they could take their place. The power of origin is really useful. Boom! The defense line formed by the Shin family was finally broken. Shin Jilin was thrown several meters away and was hit hard on the ground. Blood continued to vomit from his mouth. Shin Huan opened her eyes, glanced at her eldest cousin, and then at the group of people with red eyes rushing towards her like evil spirits. Her face turned cold. A little monkey that was glowing golden after enjoying the benefits was summoned by her. The little monkey was also smart. It hugged the little wooden fish and carried a small white snail on its shoulder and climbed onto Shin Jiling's lap. The little snail, after careful treatment, the little monkey knocked on the small wooden fish. The sound of the wooden fish radiated outwards with penetrating power, reaching the ears of countless spiritual beasts around. And the scene of the pilgrimage of all beasts was once again staged. But this time they came much faster. And soon one after another the spiritual beasts came out one after another. Those who were not high enough in level, strength and status were crowded in the back, and could not stand in the front row. And those in the front row were the most ferocious ones. The most powerful ones make people think they are untouchable just by looking at them. As soon as they arrived, they surrounded everyone present. Shin Huan jumped up, rode on by Zay, and said with cold eyes, "Listen to my orders." These 4 words were like an imperial edict, spreading out with command, deterrence, and a powerful sense of mystery. After hesitating for a few seconds, the huge spiritual beasts around them lowered their huge heads, as if they had been tamed. In general, bow your head and bow your head. This is the final version of the evolved beast language, and it is also the strongest version of the skill to command all beasts. Coupled with the assistance of Bai Zai, the king of beasts, Shin Huan was completely successful in her first use. And those who were crazy had been dazzled by profit, and had lost their minds with red eyes. First, they were awakened a little by the sound of wooden fish, and the thick fog of anger subsided. Then, they looked at those around them, who were following Shin Huan's command, and staring at them with eager eyes. The hundreds or even thousands of revered spiritual beasts were slobbering, and their legs were so frightened that they became weak. All the thoughts of robbery, killing Shin Huan to extract the original power from her, killing the Shin family without doing anything, and gathering fire to kill Wu Shi were all forgotten. Their minds were now poured with cold water, and they just woke up. The only thought left was to kneel down and beg to be let go. What they faced were all extremely ferocious beasts at the super exalted level. Even if they were used as snacks to stuff their teeth, they still dared to move. They didn't dare to move. Reluctantly and full of resentment, he had to bow to reality now. Gritting his teeth and lowering his proud head, Shin Huan has this ability to command all the beasts. Even if all the members of the participating families come, they can't do it. This year's new planet will definitely fall to the Shin family, and they have no chance. This is also true when they were threatened by the beasts and did not dare to move. The final points of the standings were revealed. The Shin family was at the top of the list, with 5 or 6 times more points than the second place on the list. Damn! This scene was so enjoyable to watch. Shin Huan must have taken the script of Xuanwen's heroine. Look at the scene of all the beasts bowing their heads and surrendering. It's so spectacular. I'm so satisfied after watching it once in my life. Who else is there? Who else is there? It would be unreasonable if the Shin family did not rise this time. With this ability, Shin Huan will be a queen-like existence in the secret realm with spiritual beasts in the future. With her leading the team, why not worry about not getting good resources? Ha ha ha. These people of the Miao ethnic group have been completely blind in the past 3 days. Not only did they die without getting any benefits, but all the spatial spiritual weapons on their bodies were taken away by Shin Huan. What do you think they are after? They might as well learn from the Dragonborn clan. The Jing family, and others had the foresight not to join in the fun. In the past 3 days, they have dug up a lot of treasures, and their points have also increased. The new planet belongs to the Shin family. This year's new planet is quite beautiful. 1/3 is blue and 2/3 are green. The proportion of land and ocean is excellent, and the vegetation is also particularly lush. As expected of a resource star, the Shin family will not need to worry about insufficient resources for the next 100 years. Warmly celebrating the arrival of the Shin family in the star territory. I wonder if the Shin family will hold a grand banquet so that I can join in the fun and pay homage to my goddess Feng Sang and goddess Wuxi, as well as the grace of my new goddess Shining Huan.